Good morning guys, welcome back to Alan's Allotment. It's the 22nd of August 2021. It's now been over 3 weeks since I last put up a video. Unfortunately I haven't been well and there's been a lot going on in my private life, so I just haven't had the time to make any videos until now. A bit of an update. There's a lot happened amongst other things, but from the allotment side of things, eventually Company X did come up with the goods. They weren't very good, but they did arrive after the threat of a YouTube airing, shall we say. And I am actually going to name the company because I don't want anybody else to experience what I went through. So they call it Garden Express, and I'm not going to be derogatory towards them or anything like that. You can just use my videos from my previous experience to make your own decisions whether you order from them or not. Basically, you know the time it took for the plants to arrive, and all I can say is when they did arrive, I did get everything that I ordered in dribs and drabs. They came on different days, which makes me think that they're ordering them from away and they do the drop shipping. They weren't very good, the plants. However, we did get everything we wanted, and with a bit of nurturing they are now making out and coming back to life, so that's a positive. Another thing was, I think I mentioned I had ordered a grapefruit tree, a dwarf grapefruit tree, and 2 mandarin trees as well, and they also arrived. The grapefruit tree, only dwarf, came with the grapefruit on it, about that size. Absolutely delighted. Not from Company X, from Dobies, my usual supplier, as did the mandarins. They came, no flower on them or anything, they're only maiden trees, but they're really, really nice. During the time I haven't been videoing, I have actually transplanted all of those trees that I bought into slightly larger pots, not very big, into 12-litre pots, and we've used coconut fibre mixed with compost to give the good drainage, and it's working absolutely superb, guys. The trees are looking amazing. We'll give you a quick look at that later on. The cucumber in the polytunnel, the one that was really healthy, and we trailed it across the line, never ever put another flower out, and we cut that out as well, guys. The aubergines are starting to put some aubergines on. The tomatoes, we've had a glut of tomatoes. Really, really nice. The birds, we've been keeping on top of the birds. However, we need to get in there and get some cleaning out done today. Some of the lofts, make a start, getting them bedded down ready for winter, and opening the big race loft up to give them more room. So we'll have just, instead of having the 4 small condensed sections, we'll have 2 large double sections, and we'll have the cocks in one and the hens in the other, as best we can. All the young birds are making out really, really nice, and if I get time we'll give you a quick look at those, and if we don't get a look at them today, we'll get a look at them through midweek or something like that, one evening when they pop up. Like I said, I have a lot going on in my own personal life at the moment, and it's just going to be as and when we can, guys, so you'll have to bear with me. I just want to say thanks to everyone for all the likes, comments, dislikes, and all the subscriptions. I really do appreciate it, guys. We're up to 520 or something now, I think it is, the last time I looked. But to be honest, I haven't really been on YouTube much either. It might be slightly higher than that now, I'm not sure. I'm not going to babble on too much. I'm just having my cup of coffee. We've already done all the birds, chickens and pigeons. We'll give you a quick look over in the garden. We'll have a quick look at the trees and everything that arrived. And then if we do have time, as I say, I'm going to be cleaning some lofts out. If I have time, I'll give you a quick look around afterwards. If not, midweek we'll come up and we'll just do a video on the birds. Once I've got the lofts sorted and got them segregated, etc. And give you a quick look to see how the youngsters are developing, etc. And then we are going to have to sort through these birds, decide what I'm keeping and what I'm letting go. I know I've said this numerous times, but things pop up in life and life gets in the way, and things don't always go according to plan, guys. Stay tuned, and I'll see you later. Right guys, quick look at the polytunnel. Nothing much to say other than you can see all of the tomatoes are ripening up really well. There is gluts and gluts and gluts of tomatoes in here, and we've had non-stop pickings of tomatoes, which is really good, and they're very nice. So just for the records, the first 4 plants are Tigerella, and the next 3 are the Alicantes I grew myself. Then we have the Crimson Crush. I pulled one of those out because it was getting blossom end rot as well, and we're down to the 2, but they are very nice. The aubergines, as you can see, have really flourished, and we are getting some aubergines on here now, as you can see, but they seem to be long aubergines as opposed to the normal standard shaped aubergines. If anyone's seen these before, let me know if that is the shape they're supposed to be. So this is one of the trees that arrived from Company X, and this one is the Golden Delicious, and it eventually did arrive. It was really bad. I had to take a lot of scorched, bad, burned leaves off, and we've been nursing it back to life, and it's recovering well. This one here, as you can see, is still pretty bad, and the leaves are not good at all. We've took off the worst of them, but I couldn't take any more off or it would have died altogether, and we're letting this get back established again, and then hopefully it will make out next year. And that one there is a John of Gold. This is the other aubergine, likewise putting out aubergines. And then this one here is from another company you can make your own decisions about, called Chris Bowers and Son, and this took forever to come. I had to constantly phone them for updates, couldn't get through, and eventually on the one time I did get through, they said they'd send it out the next day, and they did. And as you can see, they've put a handwritten label on here saying Peregrine. It's supposed to be a Peregrine peach, however it's a plum tree. This one is pretty healthy, however it's not what I ordered, and it was way too much hassle. I thought, I am not going through the hassle of sending this back and maybe not receiving anything at all. So we got a plum tree for the price of a peach tree, guys. The other little cucumber, it hasn't grew tall at all, this cucumber, but it is producing cucumbers. So yeah, we'll take what we can off it, guys. We're over in the garden now, guys. You'll see some big changes over here. So these are the lettuces and a few lettuces, and I think these are kale, which was just left over. These are going really nice and coming along tickety-boo. We harvested the last 2 cabbages and we've eaten those. Then in this bed we stripped out the peas completely. We've been harvesting the sweet corn and it's very nice. I think there's only 2 ears left now on that one plant there. All the rest have been stripped. There may be 1 or 2 small ones at the bottom still. We'll leave them to see if they do mature. Now we've taken the bigger ones off. We might just get a late crop on those, I don't know. We pulled a raw radish in, and this has been getting pulled out by birds or whatever. And our runner beans never did. You remember the 5 or 6 runner beans we put in here? They never did germinate. So we've basically got all this space back, but I haven't got anything to go in there, guys. The one runner bean, the one dwarf French bean that we did have, actually produced prolifically, but as you can see, it's finished now with maybe 5 or 6 on there. I don't think we're going to get anything else. Our little apple tree is doing really well. The pear tree has a few more leaves on, so it's well and truly alive, that one. We've still got nothing on this dwarf pear here, nothing on the cherry, nothing on the other apple, and nothing on the other cherry either, guys. We still do have some seedlings in here, which we might use, because they're still healthy, and plant them on. By the way, the broccoli must have got infested in these little seed trays. As you can see, there's nothing left of them, and I ended up having to pull them out of the brassica cage, the ones I planted in there as well. The little strawberry runners are all doing okay and thriving. This is our pomegranate tree. As you can see, it's putting pomegranates on, but it's been getting that much rain, they're starting to rot. This was full of pomegranates when I bought it last year. It's now at least double the size it was when I first bought it. These can actually go in the ground and grow outside, and I'm thinking about maybe doing that. Moving round, we'll give you a look at the bonfire peach trees that came eventually from Company X. And these, believe me guys, are a zillion times better than they were. There was hardly a leaf on these at all, and what few leaves there was, they were all like this. This is how bad it arrived. Every leaf on this tree looked like that. And it didn't have many leaves to start with, but as you can see, we've got new growth now, and it looks really healthy. It is a proper dwarf tree, as you can see, and it is now making a bit of a comeback, but you can see the state that this thing arrived in. And we couldn't take any leaf off it. We had to leave what little bit it had for photosynthesis, and this one here actually looks a lot more healthy than that one. But again, it looks like a pretty old tree, this one. It's well grafted, but it looks slightly better. And then we've got our two little kumquat limes. These actually need a drink today, but they're doing really, really well now. They were all drooped over, and I thought they were dead basically, but as you can see, we've managed to get them to survive. So the next thing you'll see is our second batch of peas. To see the height of these now, and we've even got pea pods on them starting to develop, and they're looking really, really healthy guys. We've had a lot of rain, which hasn't helped too much, but you can see we are getting some pea pods on there. We haven't harvested anything off them, we're letting them bulk up a bit. Most of our best of all Swede have germinated, and we need to thin these out once they get a little bit bigger. But you can see that something is still pulling these out, probably the birds, and hence the reason I'm not thinning them out just yet until we've finished letting them grow a bit and see they're being left alone, and then we'll thin them out guys. Moving round, you'll see the lettuces are doing exceptionally well, and we've had a couple of pickings off those yesterday. You'll see the perpetual spinach is doing really well, and you'll see that the chard is also doing really well. Unlike our kale, kohlrabi rather, and kale, and these are being stripped by something, so there must be something in the soil in these beds, because there's nothing being able to get in here, I can tell you. So there must have been insects, larvae, eggs, whatever in the soil. It's come up and it's stripping those brassicas down now. So the ones over in that bed are faring much better than the ones in here guys. As you can see, this now is just a massive strawberries and onions. We need to get those onions harvested and start thinning out the strawberries and digging out the runners that planted themselves, and selecting ourselves some strawberry plants ready for winter, because they're only 1 year old plants these, and the strawberries are beautiful off these particular strawberries. In here, our potatoes never ever grew that we planted as a second crop. They were just potatoes out of a bag from the house, but as you know, they treat the potatoes in there to stop them chitting, and that's probably the reason why nothing's growing here. You can see a big pile of branches there where I've thinned out the plum tree. We have harvested we have trimmed back the plum tree to what I want it to be, just 2 or 3 branches. And likewise with the pear, we've stocking topped all of that. That's been really healthy all year, but we've never had another pear so that we could get any pollination on this tree. So we've cut this back as well to a manageable size, and we've got a good space up here now. The rhubarb's still going strong. We've been getting loads and loads of pickings off the rhubarb. Oh, grapevine, well, it's not doing too well in there, but it is late in the year now. It should have been in much earlier. You can see we've got thousands and thousands of strawberries off these, but the birds have been the mice and the birds have just been having a good old go at these. I might be able to salvage one or two today actually. I'm just looking, there's one or two that, because they're getting such a glut, there is a few that I might actually get picked off today. But you can see some of them are actually moulding as well, guys. But yeah, we've never actually taken a single strawberry off these this year. But you can see there are some nice ones on here, and they do produce really well. And they're just like a little dwarf variety of these, but they still produce really fine big strawberries. We have got some cuttings off these, and this is their second year. We'll get another year out of these guys, but we will cut them back severely, and I maybe even take them out of there, redo the bed, and then put them back again. We harvested all of the onions, and they've all gone. They're in the garage drying out. Really, really nice. I was well pleased with the harvest of that. You can see we severely cut this little dwarf tree, apple tree back. That one was really badly infected with brown spot, and we're going to treat all these. I've got some sulphur to treat these with in winter. We treat all these trees, and we've pruned them back with the secateurs, making sure the secateurs were nice and clean. And we've took out a lot of straggly branches, little thin tiny things, and we just left it with a couple of nice strong branches there. Likewise with this one, we took the worst of this off, and we left it with a little. We've actually had apples. We took the apples, not that one, it was this one here, we took the apples off. Again, we've trimmed this one back and stunted it down again, but left enough branches on that we'll get some apples next year on this new growth that came this year. And again, all of these trees will be treated with sulphur, and we've done the same with this. You'll also notice we took the top half of this fence off since we you last had it last seen. This was a fence up here, we've taken that down, and it's up there just for the time being till we get it dismantled. The Brussels sprouts are doing really, really well. We pulled out the courgette from there, we took the courgette out from here, and we've harvested and eat all the last of the turnips. So that's the second batch that's in that bed over there with the peas. The carrots in here, the autumn kings are germinating very, very sporadically, but they're getting pulled out as well by something, birds presumably. And these two rows of the Nance 5, well, there's nothing germinated at all. The little cherry bush is doing really well and thriving, got established now, as is our 3 variety apple tree. And yeah, next year it'll put on a spurt of growth and fill out a bit. We harvested all the apples off this apple tree, and they're very, very nice. We only got there was 3 apples on there. One of them was badly eaten by the birds, and we got the other 2, and again likewise they were nice. So we didn't get many apples, but what we did get were nice. You can see the windows have held up well against all the gales and the rain so far. I never ever got the sliders put in, but what I have done here is we've got cardboard laid down here now, ready for to start. We want a membrane on the top of that now, and then we can start mulching with the bark chips. And we've also got it up there and right down the back into the treehouse. And as you can see, we're pretty full in here now, guys. But here's our grapefruit, little grapefruit that we bought, the last one from Dobie's. And it's a very, very small tree on a very well established rootstock. And as you can see, there we go. That's a grapefruit. There only is the one on it, but it's lovely and firm. It's very healthy, and we've repotted these into 12 litre pots. As I said, we used the coconut fibre, the coconut coir, mixed in 70% with 25% compost, and it's absolutely brilliant. These trees are absolutely loving this. And as you can see, they're lovely and damp. We can soak them right through till the water pours out the bottom, and then they're good for a week, depending on weather. At least good for a week, and they just, as you can see, they're thriving, guys. They're putting out new leaves and everything. They're lovely and glossy. Really, really nice. This is our mandarins, one of our last trees we got. This is a mandarin, and absolutely beautiful and healthy. This came from Dobie's. These were slightly not as good a quality, or not as healthy. It didn't appear to be quite as healthy as the plants we normally get from Dobie's. However, they were fine, and they are actually looking even better now they're potted on. These are our two from last year. It's our orange and lemon, and as you can see, these are starting to gloss up really nice now. They were very, very anemic, but since we've been feeding them, these actually want potted on now into the 12-litre pots, and they want we want to use the compost. And we've got 50-50 coconut coir and compost there. We've got compost there, and I made up, these are the little bricks that you soak in water, and I've made myself 100% bag of cocoa coir in there. Absolutely brilliant, this stuff for growing trees. And guys, you can see the beautiful lush new greenery that we've got on this little orange tree. This is an orange tree. I think you've seen this one in a previous video. This is our other mandarin. Again, beautiful and healthy. Lots of new growth since I potted it on. Loads and loads of new growth. It's even got a flower on now. Just the one, but it has got a flower on. And then this is our lemon that you had seen. That was, I think it's grew already since I bought this, guys. And then we've got our lime, still looking lovely and healthy with all the limes on. I don't think they're going to get much bigger than that this year, purely and simply because of the amount on there, and that's probably the size they're going to stay. And then we ended up getting our apricot tree on a dwarf stock, which is nice because it's an apricot one. And this one is probably going to go outside, guys, when I decide where I'm going to put this. But really, really healthy now. This is one that came from Company X and didn't look too clever. Actually, tell a lie. No. This one came from another company whose mind slips me now, who I've used in the past, and they normally produce decent trees. Yeah, this one came with the cherry tree and the 3 variety apple tree. Sorry, I apologise. And again, it's looking really well. Our onions, we didn't get, they have germinated, but it's very, very sporadic. We've been picking up the dead leaves off that's been fallen from the trees. We've got our Durham early cabbages, and as you can see, we've got one dwarf French bean here, and that's all it germinated. I think there is another one there starting to poke up. We watered these yesterday, but nothing at all came through on the beetroot. And you can see our peaches and nectarines look absolutely beautiful now. We've got the watering right and everything now. It is getting to that time of year where we will get leaf fall now, and eventually these are all going to drop, but it's still putting out new leaf at the moment. But very shortly, everything will drop off these trees, and they will just go back to bare root. Our orange tree, again, putting out loads of new growth, and these, it looks something like a tree now, this. We did lose the one orange that was on the back there, as you remember. But we've got lots and lots of new growth here. Really, really pleased with this. It's developed nice. And then we've got our lemon tree, last but not least. They put out 2 new shoots from the bottom. And I was going to cut these off, but I'm undecided whether to leave them actually and let it bush up from the bottom as well. But you can see now that on the second flush, we've got some more lemons. Quite a number. I don't want to touch them in case I drop them off, knock them off. I'm just going to leave those. And we've got another couple here as well. I think it's put 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7, maybe 8 lemons on, 9 lemons. So we're just going to wait and see if these stay on. Maybe the tree is still too young to carry that much fruit, but we'll leave them and just see what happens, guys. And as you can see, this is grown magnificently. It does actually need a bit of a trim on the end of these now to stop them getting much bushier than they are. I'm undecided with that yet. We might just let this fill out a little bit more. But just a quick roundup in the treehouse as well, guys. As you can see, everything, I'm really, really delighted with how the trees are going now. I've got the watering right, we've got the compost right. Everything's looking really, really good. Right, guys, just a final roundup. Hope you've enjoyed today's little tour of the allotment. Not too exciting, however, as I say, we've had a lot of going on in my life at the moment, and I just thought I'd better put one out there just to let you know I'm still here. This year's been exceptionally difficult for me, however, I've still enjoyed getting what harvests we have had. We've had a really good productive year in spite of some of the trials and tribulations, and overall I'm quite happy. What you didn't see, and I haven't videoed, is I had 13 of those Durham early cabbages. We've planted them in those beds where we had the spaces at. I've also transplanted the onions into groups of 4 or 5 little spring onions. I've also planted them outside in the beds now. And I've planted, I think there was 2, maybe even 3 dwarf French beans. I've planted those out just to see what happens, see if they get going. If we get anything, we get something. If we don't, we don't. We won't know if we don't try these experiments. So I've just been potting over there doing that. I've popped over for a cup of coffee now. I'm not feeling too well, so the birds will actually be taking a back seat, I'm afraid. And we'll probably pop up through the week in the evenings, and we'll maybe take one loft and we'll clean it out. Then we'll do another loft and we'll clean it out. And by next weekend, guys, we should hopefully be able to give you a pigeon video, and that'll be it. And maybe a slight update on the growing area, see if anything did actually take, see if the cabbages took, see if the spring onions took. But yeah, overall, considering the trials and tribulations of this year, I'm really pleased with the production that came out of the garden. This is only my 2nd year. I am a novice, and I'm happy with what we've had. I just want to say again, thank you for all your subscriptions, likes, dislikes and comments. I really do appreciate it, guys. And as always, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be practical, and keep yourselves out of harm's way. I'll see you again in the next video.